Do you want to know your maturity level as a man? Well, stay with me tonight at the Awakened Men TV series to find out. This is a very new way to express myself in my new program, and I want to tell you more about masculinity. So, who I am and why do I do this? I am Florentina and I'm a spiritual life coach for men. My mission is to help men to access their divine power, feel alive, and aligned to their mission. Tonight, I'm just opening a new series for men to talk about masculinity, maturity, women, sexuality, and all the topics that men need in order to perform their best. Why am I doing this? Because for a long period of time, I've been working a lot with women as a relationship therapist. And women have a lot of complaints about men. Women want more things from men, and one request, very urgent request from women, is that men should be spiritual. So I thought that men might be spiritual if they know about it, if they are interested in spirituality. But if they are they going in the same places with women, or they need separate spaces, separate types of energies just dedicated to them? So my conclusion was that men need a special place to develop their masculine energy, to learn about themselves, and to be able to discover their potential. So I started this new project, and I'm so proud about it because it has a lot of good questions and great results. A question that I get often is, what is a spiritual life coach for men? A spiritual life coach is a person who helps you to develop the areas of your life through spirituality and meditation. And that's my specialty because I have over 50,000 hours of practice, and I'm overqualified when it comes to meditation and spiritual techniques. And when I say that, I'm not bragging. I just am open to show with you and share with you the practice that I had over the years. So today we have a case study, and I want to know where you're watching from, and just drop me a comment and say, where are you watching this live from, what country, what city, and if you like it, share it to a male friend. Maybe he might find interesting the information that I'm going to give you tonight. The Awakened Men TV series is made in this following way. We will have a case study from a real man who wrote me, and I will give all the advices to him that he needed. In the end of this live, I can do some aura readings. What is that? That means I can connect to your energetic field, and I can read some things about it that you are interested in. So to be able to access that, I want you to stay with me until the end of this live, and then I will explain you the procedure and how we do it. So let's dive into the case study. Daniel wrote me, and he says the following. Hi Florentina, I perceive myself in an adolescent phase. I'm 40, but after healing my childhood wounds and solving my divorce problems, I am enjoying everything that comes to me, from divine and people around. I'm very curious to learn and test new topics, from ecological agriculture to authentic relationships with women and new spirituality techniques. For me, the most important information will be to understand each phase: child, adolescent, and maturity. What identities, roles, values, behaviors, and abilities have those phases? My wish is to have a kind of a roadmap to know where to go, what direction to take, and to spot myself on this map. Also, I would like to know what is the king archetype and how can I reach that level. This case study is really great because I have a lot of content here to share with you. I love to talk about maturity, and especially the men maturity, because there are some phases that we need to cover. So let's dive in and see what we can do. First of all, thank you for writing me and having trust and faith in me. And now let's see what is happening into a man's life since he gets birth and he dies. So we have three phases. We have the child phase, we have the teenager, and also we have the mature, the adult. How do you act like a man in these phases? Let's start with the child. I want to introduce you in the concept of kinesthetic ages. What that means. It's a new concept that I have created a few years ago when I was doing my research about maturity. And then I realized that people often talk about physical maturity, mental maturity, and emotional maturity. But there are so many other levels that you can need to transform yourself in order to reach maturity, and that's on the energetic level. So if you don't do that shift on the energetic level, you might remain behind. And how does that feel? It feels like you don't have the power to do something. You want to start a new job, but you don't have the drive and the motivation. You want to start your own business, but you feel like you're too small and you're not going to make it. That means you are in a child phase. What means a child phase? Let's analyze a baby. Let's take one like 5 or 7 years. This child needs his parents' support all the time. He cannot do things by himself. So when you have 40 and you act the same, that means you haven't matured. And you need to see what areas of your life you haven't matured, because it might be possible in one area to be adult, in another one to be child, in another one to be a teenager. So it has to be made a very clear distinction. Where are you at? Because you were asking me about the roadmap. Now, how this manifests, for example, in relationships. If you are, let's say, 40 and you are married, but when you go home, you want your wife always to cook for you, clean the stuff, wash your shirts, and even bring you the beer on the couch, that means you cannot do things by yourself. If you go constantly to your mom and eat there, or you take decision against your wife and come back to your mom to ask for advice, and then you go back to the wife and you say, my mom said we should do this and we should do it, and then she gets really furious, it's because you are still in the maturity, not in the maturity phase, you're still in the child phase. So you need to spot these things on yourself, because if you don't spot it, you can have 50, 60, 70, 100 years old. It doesn't matter. If you don't mature and you don't do steps in order to mature, you will stay at the same level. So women spot that immaturity right away and they start to bring it up. You act like a child. Why can't you have your own decisions? Why your mom has to be always involved in our relationships? When it's about money, let's think about it like this. When you are a child, how much money can you produce? Do you have financial independence? No, because somebody else from outside is providing for you. When you become mature financially, you can afford everything you want. You are free to do whatever you want. You can set your schedule, and also you can make your own money and income without depending on others. When you are in adolescent phase, teenager, what teenager do? They try to make their own money, but in the same time they need support from their parents, because they try to make it on their own, but they don't have enough power to become mature. So this is also a process. Now, let's go from the child to teenager. Teenagers have a very interesting behavior, because when a man transforms himself from child to teenager and he is married, his behavior is changing instantly. What that means? if until then he was very dependent on his wife, he was staying in the home, doing things in the house, being all the time with the family, when he shifts in the teenager phase, he becomes a rebel. He wants to experiment, he wants to travel alone, he wants to be independent, he wants to have sex with other women, maybe he even is cheating. So that means he just crossed that period of childhood to a teenager. Wives, women don't know that, and they freak out and say, oh my god, my husband cheated, he went crazy, I'm going to divorce. And the woman gets a divorce. After she gets a divorce, the man goes do his thing, live his age, like being a teenager, it doesn't matter if he's 50. And after he reached that level and crossed to maturity, he comes back to the woman. And the woman says, no, thank you, I don't need you in my life anymore. You just hurt me so much that I don't want to see you again, and I don't want to be with you. So just leave. But what the woman doesn't know is that now he's prepared to come back in the relationship and really assume and do the things right. But she is so hurt that she doesn't want him anymore. So in the adolescent phase, this was the relationship part. But let's see the vocation part. If you haven't found your vocation yet, and you don't know what to do, you don't know what's your direction, you don't know what's the plan of your life, that means you're also in a teenager phase. So you have to sit down and make a plan for your life. All the time I hear this like, oh, why should we plan? Things should be spontaneous. Yes, should be spontaneous, but also you need to have a plan for your life. Because if you don't have a plan for your life, somebody else will have. So you will end up working for somebody else in somebody else's story, and you will wake up when you will be 50 or 60 and nothing good happen to your life, and you will just regret it. So this is the adolescent phase. Let's go to maturity and see what maturity means. Maturity means that you have crossed all the other phases, from child to teenager, and now you just transformed your energy and you became more assumed, more structured, more focused. In terms of women, you have experienced everything you wanted to experience, and now you have the full done, and you want just to meet another woman which is mature, assumed, you want to create a family with, you want to have kids. In terms of communication, you are more calm and more specific. You just avoid the fights, because when you are a mature man assumed, you also have another level of communication. You know how to address your needs, you know what are your values, you know what's your vision and your mission for life. So when you have all these things set in place, that means you have reached the maturity level. You asked me for a roadmap, and I have a roadmap, and I cannot share it today because that means we can stay here until morning and talk about it. But I will tell you about it in a few words. So I'm going to launch this roadmap in October 1st. In October 1st is going to be launched the Awakened Mentorship. It's a program only for men, where I support men to access spirituality. I teach you to meditate. I put you in another place of understanding yourself. I show you what's your best potential and how you can perform. So in this roadmap, you will take like a masculinity roadmap, and you will reach the king archetype, because you were asking me, how can I reach the king archetype? You can reach the king archetype by maturing yourself in all the areas of your life. So in this program, I'm also going to reach some topics like male sexuality, relationship, how to deal with crazy women and spiritual women, how to understand better women and communicate with them, what's your life master plan. It's really important to have a master plan for your life. And also we will dive in the masculine archetypes. So this is going to be in autumn, but until then, just drop me a message and asking me more about the program, because I have a limited number of people that I want to take in. It's a 6 months program. It's not like it's going to happen like overnight, because I don't work with overnight things. Just let's have some conversation about it, because I want to select very well the people that I'm going to work with, because I require a lot of engagement, I require results, and also I give the best value. So when I give the best value, I want to have the best people to work with. The program is not ready for being public, but I just told you about it, so just drop me a message so we can have a chat about it. And for sure, if any of you watching this live want to know more about the Awakened Mentorship, drop me a message. So I'm so glad to be with you tonight, and it's my first live on this project. It will be many from now on, so prepare yourself, setting the agenda 11 p.m. East time, and see you soon. Have a nice evening, because for me it's evening, and if you have questions, don't forget to drop me a message, because I'll come back to you and answer. Bye.